What is up, everybody? It's the Golf on CBS preview show. Patrick McDonald, I'm Shane Bacon. Patrick, do you want to let people behind the curtain a bit of our last day try to get this show recorded?
Look, they don't want us to record this show, Shane. I don't know who it is, but StreamYard in particular, not throwing them under the bus. Maybe it's people out east. They're not ready for some of these takes we have. Too hot
Good
for
point.
the internet. But yeah, look, on me, I got a ton of messages being like, where are you and Shane? Where are you and Shane? We need that Monday recap from the Rocket Classic. Please, please, please. I'm itching here. And unfortunately, my end, some technical difficulties. Ring lights are out. Streaming services don't work. Green screen not working. I have a green halo right now, and this hand disappears sometimes. So we're working through it, though.
Trying to power through. Josh did send the note and said, try to swivel as little as possible, Patrick. So there's instruction about the way you need to sit and stand, but we're going to try to power through. Obviously, a couple days removed from the win by Aldrich Potgieter, the 20-year-old. It was a interesting playoff, sure. I mean, there's a lot of pars, a lot of 20-footers that maybe were going to go in. I did like this. I saw this floating around. There was a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 40-year-old in the playoff. The 20-year-old has 195 mile an hour ball speed. The 30-year-old has 184 ball speed, and the 40-year-old has 173 ball speed. Guess who won? It's the guy that hits it the longest. And Potgieter, now a winner on the PGA Tour, of course, won last year on the Corn Ferry Tour. Patrick, kind of the modern day resume from these players that are kind of figuring it out. Like you think about Nick Dunlap when he wins as an amateur and then he turned pro and was lost in the woods, obviously lost in the woods now, and then pops back up again and gets a victory. Potgieter, when you look at his recent results, a lot of miscuts, random top 5 finishes, and then a win. I mean, that's basically what you're seeing from a lot of these young players that have one really amazing skill and maybe have to sharpen other things up.
Yeah, and you think about, I think back to Bobby McIntyre last year when he said he was homesick, Shane, and went home and then came back and started to play a lot better golf. Potgieter, you look at his run here, he decided not to do U.S. Open qualifying. He's like, I'm kind of tired. I'm homesick. I'm going to go back to South Africa, hunt a little bit, get new clubs on the way back. And you see right away, boom, just so much better with the approach play. Putter's always good, like you mentioned. We don't need to talk about the speed too much, but this is a guy who, when he has been in the mix, it seems like he's gotten better and better and better. I think back to this winter, Shane, down in South Africa. I think it was the Nedbank.
Yep.
Where he just threw up all over himself. So he made like one of the worst triple bogeys on a par 3.
Greenside bunker triple bogey, just like chipping, so gross.
Yeah, so bad. Finished second there. Torrey Pines was in the mix final group, did not acquit himself great there. Mexico Open, iron play was not great down the stretch. Still should have won that golf tournament if it wasn't for a freaking tree in a playoff. And then obviously this week too. And so just seeing those building blocks slowly but surely compound is really cool. But like you mentioned, I talked about it on Sunday. It's this guy has made 6 cuts on the PGA Tour this season and is a winner. And then you look at someone like Tommy Fleetwood, who is like inside the top 10 every single week on the PGA Tour, and only one's a winner.
It's crazy. You know, I mean, obviously, I know a lot of people don't pay as much of attention to the Corn Ferry Tour as somebody like I do, who obviously covers it on TV when we're on TV. But, you know, Potgieter on the KFT last year wins the second event. I mean, as a 19-year-old, right? I mean, a really cool story. One of the youngest winners of all time on the Corn Ferry Tour. And when you look at his Corn Ferry Tour season last year, obviously got his card through that. Very similar to what you're seeing this season on the PGA Tour. I mean, he has that win in late January. His next top 10 was at the end of June 30th. And then he had one more top 10 for the entire season. A ton of miscuts there as well. So this is kind of who Potgieter is really as a pro to this point. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's not very good at all. And I think it was Tiger, dude, that said this a few years ago. You know, the consistency of the pro golfer has shifted. Now you need to get hot 3 or 4 weeks a year. And outside of that, you know, if it's not there, it's not there. But, I mean, this was an impressive win, obviously kind of outlasting a couple of big names, at least the big names in the field. And getting the victory was cool. And on a sleepy week, it's nice to have a good winner, if you will, and somebody like a 20-year-old that obviously has a ton of speed.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his season, he's up to 36 in the FedEx Cup. Everyone talks about the top 30. Top 50 is huge. So you can kind of set that schedule next year. But as opposed to I know Xander Schauffele missed some time, but that's a guy who's finished T12 at the US Open, T8 at the Masters, a couple other good finishes, much more consistent than someone like Potgieter, and he's outside the top 50 as it stands. So, like you mentioned, get the most out of those good weeks, and it really makes your season in the next couple of years too.
Yeah, it was Rocket Week, I'd say, kind of personified. It
Yeah.
kind of felt like I mean, the playoff was interesting. I mean, it wasn't exactly compelling, but Grazerman's a kid that I like watching play. I like his attitude. I like the way he kind of rolls. Seems like a very confident player. Obviously, seen him come very, very close over the last year or so, but kind of having him in the mix. Chris Kirk looked like he was going to win a playoff with that 9-iron on the first playoff hole and unable to convert that putt. But that was the Rocket. On to the John Deere. I know it's one of your favorite events of the season. We'll get to picks and all that stuff in a little bit with the John Deere. And then, of course, we roll into the Open Championship. Before we get into some of the stuff we have planned for the day, though, I did want to throw something your way. We want to start something occasionally called One Thing on Your Mind. One thing on your mind, and it could kind of be, Patrick, across the board. Like, this could be a Potgieter take. This could be a Patrick Reed take, obviously winning on Live. This could be Lexi Thompson almost winning again after being, quote-unquote, maybe or maybe not retired. Or it could be nothing about pro golf at all. So I'm going to let you kick things off on your one thing on your mind on this Tuesday in early July.
Yeah, look, I actually have a few things on my mind, but we'll stick to one for now. We'll stick. I won't ruin more. I won't ruin the bit quite yet. We'll see if we have enough time for two. I was thinking about Collin Morikawa and his little scuttlebutt in the media a lot this week, Shane. And my first reaction was, man, this guy needs to get stuffed into a locker. A little bullying, I've always thought is good for the soul to kind of get you in your place, play team sports growing up, all that fun stuff. And then as more people threw their opinions on the interweb, I found myself kind of back in Morikawa's corner.
Okay.
Because this is a guy, Shane, who is very aware of his image. He wants to be like a sponsor's dream, pretty much, really.
Too aware of his image. Too aware, yes.
Way too aware. He needs to stop reading about himself. He hasn't really faced, I would say, too much adversity in his professional golf career.
Almost none, actually. Almost none.
Until this year, where if you want to call being a top 5 player in the world adversity, sure, we'll give him that one. But he has been fairly buttoned up and fairly boring in the media. And you know what, Shane? This year, finally, Collin Morikawa, if you agree with him or not, he's kind of interesting. He's kind of interesting. And so who are we to sit back and say, you're too sensitive, be quiet, man up? That quote, nothing burger. I have turned the corner and I've said, keep letting it rip, Collin. Keep letting it rip. This is America. Say what you want to say. And I'm appreciative for it because not enough guys speak their mind, if they're wrong or right.
You know what we should do soon, because we love to power rank stuff, is we should power rank like the top 10 best modern quotes in golf. Because I think, to your point, if we started to go down that road, it would probably take us a lot longer than we thought. You think about Scotty when he talks. I don't think Scotty's the most interesting listen in the world, but I do like listening when he talks about golf, when he dives into kind of dissecting golf. I don't always agree with him either. I don't think I agree with some of the stuff he said about certain golf courses and the challenges and the quote unquote unfairness of certain places. But I appreciate the conversation he has about the game. Obviously, Rory has been one of the best quotes over the last decade, been very weird this year in terms of the way he's talked about media. Xander always up there as well. Xander's somebody I like listening to when he talks about golf. I mean, Brooks is another player. When Brooks talks and dives into an actual topic, I find Brooks very interesting. But I think, to your point, you start to get past those names when you're looking at an actual figure, right? I mean, Morikawa is a figure. It's not just a B-level player. You want to hear something out of him. And so I don't think you're wrong here. I think him at least kind of laying things out on the table a little bit more has been more refreshing than not.
Yeah. And could he have gone about it a different way? Sure. Pull him aside after the press conference. Don't do it right then and there. Maybe don't read about yourself like you mentioned. But I am appreciative of Collin Morikawa letting it rip, because not enough guys do. And to add to your list, Victor Hovland, certainly among those.
Victor Hovland also always a great listen. All right, I got something. You know how everybody is on the camp of take the big letter hats away? Yes. Big letter hats have gotten overplayed, overused. They're everywhere. There'll be like lines of them at these majors now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of you're surprised that people are buying them. You see them out in the wild, and you kind of internally roll your eyes at them, right? All that stuff. I think I've got something that's worse than the big letter hats that has taken over the game, and it needs to stop. And that is the poker chip ball marker.
Oh,
Played a tournament a couple of weeks ago, and it was foursomes, not threesomes, which most tournaments are. And there was a poker chip in the group. And when you got 4 guys playing golf, it's in somebody's way on every hole, every single hole. It's annoying. It's even when it's not in your line, they're so massive that they think about it. It's like a ring camera on the green, you know? And I've always said, I mean, if you're going to be a poker guy, have a dime in your pocket to put within 5 feet. But I kind of think I'm out on that too. I just don't want to see a poker chip on a green at all, anywhere, anymore, ever again. Let's get them out. I'd rather see big letter hats. 3 dudes in my group with a big letter hat than the poker chip.
Company just sent me a couple poker chip ball markers.
You can't use them. Can't use them.
Yeah, I mean, I've typically fallen in line with you have a small one for close, like push in one. But yeah, I'm down with just outlawing them altogether, because honestly, the poker chip conversation, Shane, kind of ties in with what was on my mind completely outside the golf world, and it's sidewalk etiquette. It's been really grinding my gears lately.
Okay.
And I feel like the poker chip is almost like that person on the sidewalk that group that goes 3 wide, 4 wide, and you can't get past them on the left.
I mean, it's become so bad that like they get annoyed at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'll go on a run in my neighborhood, and we have this. They just redid the sidewalk. It's beautiful, and it goes down by the water, and it's really nice, right? And people are annoyed at me, like that I'm in their way when they're 3 wide and are taking up the entire sidewalk. Like I'm doing something wrong, you know. And you go, man, like just scoot over, you know. Like let's not make sure we're not taking up more than 50% of the sidewalk. That's the rule.
Yeah, go by 2. And this extends to airports, other public places. It's really bad, but it really, really starts at the sidewalk. And don't get me started on the people who walk on the left side like we're in the UK or something. Like,
yeah,
okay, wait a couple weeks. Like,
yeah, we'll be there for the Open Championship. We've even changed the name of it for you guys. Let's not dial that in.
No, you're excited for the Open. I am too, but we're sticking on the right side on this part of the world. And so going more than 2 wide, going on the left side, not moving. That's the other thing on my mind. The poker chip of society is sidewalk etiquette.
We've got plenty more on this show, by the way. Carter Arey is going to join us. He's playing in the U.S. Adaptive Open next week. That's in Woodmont in Maryland. So we're going to chat with him a little bit about his journey into golf. And then, of course, we got Jay Ray coming up. Before we get to those, though, we were talking a little bit, and this really, I think this conversation started when Jay Rose was in the hunt at Augusta, and then Adam Scott was in the hunt at Oakmont. And I think this conversation around both those players floated around the one major winner, right? These guys are too good. Their credentials are too polished to only have one major championship, right? And so it kind of got you and I thinking, who are the best players with one major? Like, who are the modern players that has one major win that we consider the best player of that, let's say of that portion of Wikipedia, right? And so we were tasked, you and I were, to rank our top 10 modern players with one major. Did you find this tougher, easier, or what you thought it would be?
So I'll be honest, when we had this conversation yesterday before StreamYard went down on me, I only had my 5. And
StreamYard kind of saved you.
With the added time, I added 6 through 10, which I felt was more difficult than 1 through 5.
Yeah. I think getting to the top was tough, but I think that bottom area, there's a lot of guys that are not going to make the list. And you kind of look at the list of the modern one major winners, and it's like, no chance they're not going to be on here. Some names also surprising when you look at their resume, both good and bad. I'll kick us off. My number 10, Shane Lowry, one-time major winner, 2019 Open champion, obviously. And I kind of wrote down credentials, Patrick. I'll read through them. 7 pro wins, including some pretty big ones on the Euro Tour. Has a WGC win, but also has a team win that he won, obviously, with Rory last year in New Orleans. Has hung around the lead at majors, but really outside of Oakmont in 2016, nothing substantial. Had that big lead there and gave it up. And then, of course, wins the Open Championship in 2019. Major records, not as good as you think. Not as many wins probably as you think he has. But I'd say a solid modern era player, and I think 10's probably a good spot for him.
Dang. Okay. Shane Lowry outside my top 10.
Okay.
My number 10 is Patrick Reed with
Wow.
7 PGA Tour wins, the Masters, 2 non-PGA Tour wins, a WGC winner. Kind of like Lowry, I guess, hasn't really played himself into the mix a ton in major championships. He's become a lot better at Augusta National. Seems like every year he's there now. Was the halfway point leader at Wingfoot, I believe, and then he shot 45 on the front 9 on Saturday, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he's my number 10. But
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, P is on my list way higher.
Oh.
Not a spot higher, not 2 spots higher. I'm talking way up the list on mine when I dive into resumes. So I'm actually surprised of all people you have P. Reed so low down the list.
I felt weird putting him on the list.
Oh, I mean, he's as I started to get into who he is as a player, when you compare him to these other guys, and these are kind of I think my list at least is players that are still playing either PGA Tour or Live Golf. That's kind of the guys I have. No champs, none of that stuff. I mean, these guys are still playing high-level PGA Tour golf.
50.
Yeah. My number 9 is Cam Smith. On your list?
Oh, no.
Not on your list?
No.
Unbelievable. This is interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, 2022 Open champion. I was surprised at his resume. It is not as good as you'd think. 6 wins on the PGA Tour. Of course, that includes a major and a players, but it was all kind of around the same time. 2 of his 6 wins are team event wins in New Orleans. 2 of the wins he won with somebody else. So really kind of 4 individual wins on the PGA Tour. 2 Aussie PGAs, which is big. 3 wins on Live, but all those happened, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And this is maybe the wildest thing about Cam Smith. Only on 1 President's Cup. Can you believe that? He only played 1 President's Cup. When he won the Open, obviously went to Live and then was not invited to play on that team when he was leading the points list on that President's Cup team. But I was shocked by that. I figured Cam had played 3 or 4 of those things.
That was the team that was supposed to give the U.S. a little bit of fight, right? Because you had Louis there too. Mito played well. The Leishman. Dang, that is I am rethinking my list right now.
Crazy. And no Shane Lowry, no Cam Smith on your list. I'm actually interested to see where you're going. Who's your number 9?
My number 9 is Louis Oosthuizen. 0 PGA Tour wins.
Not on my list.
10 DP World Tour wins. Obviously, the winner there at the Open, and he has finished runner-up in every single major championship.
Play the music, baby.
Let's go. Well, exactly. Play the Adele. Hit it. And so Louis number 9, just because that major record is really good.
You know what? Probably should have been on my list. I kind of feel like I omitted him, and he probably should have been on there. But you know what I think the problem was? I don't know if I scrolled down far enough. I mean, that Open Championship, what was that? Was that 2010 or was that 2010?
Oh, gosh. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2010, wasn't it? That's a long time ago.
Yeah,
when you think about I think when you go to that era, typically it's players that you don't see still playing. I kind of forgot Louis still played, which is so wild. One of the great shots in Masters history as well, which he'll always have in coming up so close there a couple times. My number 8, Mr. Henrik Stenson, on your list.
He is. He's he's much higher.
Okay. All right. 2016 Open, 6 PGA Tour wins. They're all kind of bangers, by the way. Major players, WGC, 2 FedEx playoffs, 9 DP World wins, including back-to-back DP World Tour championships, and, of course, Olympic silver medalist in 2016. Major resume's okay. It's not great. I think that's something you kind of maybe ding him on a little bit. But I would argue the most interesting duel of the modern era in major golf was Henrik at True.
Oh, yeah, by far. That was an awesome finish. Do you know who finished 3rd in that tournament?
I don't.
I don't either.
Do you really not know? I thought you knew.
No.
Was it JB Holmes?
Dang, I thought I was going to guess Andrew Beef Johnson. That was his coming out party.
Man, Beef.
Got the
How about
Arby's
Beef?
deal.
I wonder what the Arby's deal was worth. I hope it was $1 million at least.
Yeah, hopefully.
So all right. So I've got, let's just go. I got Lowry, Cam Smith, Henrik, and you've got
Reed, Louis, Webb Simpson.
Webb Simpson, number 8, not on my list. Go, give me the reason. Give me the reason.
Players Championship winner, 5 other PGA Tour wins, which honestly I was a little surprised about. Thought he had more than, of course, that U.S. Open victory at the Olympic Club. But yeah, I felt like coming out of COVID, Webb was top 4 golfer in the world. He was dynamite, and so I threw him on the list. He did it for a while, still under 40, I think, which is wild to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. And of course, as
39
is some of the names we're going to get into, there's that opportunity. If you find your game, granted, Webb not a speed, master or anything like that, so it's not going to be beneficial to him the way golf's moving. But I mean, that Players, remember, he was just like crushing souls at that Players. So very impressive resume. I got Keegan at number 7. Keegan on your list?
Keegan, I got one higher, number 6.
Okay.
Or
2011
no, number
PGA.
7. I have him at
nice.
number 7 too. Cool.
So same spot. Keegan at number 7. First time we've agreed. 8 PGA Tour wins from 2011 to 2025, which is impressive. 4 top 10s in majors outside of his win, not great. Couple FedEx Cup playoff wins, couple signature event wins, obviously both those the Travelers, and a WGC. I mean, impressive victories when he wins. I'd say you kind of look at the tournaments and there's not really many sleepers in there.
Yeah, I agree. And you look the last few years, only Scotty and Rory have more PGA Tour wins than him, which is
crazy.
Wild.
Who's your number 6?
Henrik Stenson, number 6. So
got
everything
Stenson
you said, agree with.
I got P at 6.
Whoa!
Give me P at 6. Now you said 7 PGA Tour wins. Now I got to look this up because I had 9. So either one of us is wrong. Let me check. When you said 7, it might be 7. I might have typed the wrong number.
Oh no, it's 8 with the major, so 9 overall. You're
9
right.
total PGA. Golly, that is crazy. That's the other side of the numbers we're talking about when you think of like a Henrik or a Webb, and you're surprised by the lack of wins, if you will, just because they've been around for so long. 9 is surprising. Major, 2 WGCs, 2 FedEx Cup playoffs. Just mentioned the win and live. I forgot this, but he made a run at the 2017 PGA. Got 67, made a bogey on the last, lost by 2 to JT. An opportunity there to go back-to-back majors if he pulls that one out, because he wins the very next one at Augusta National, which would have obviously not put him on the list. And then I have him high as well because Ryder Cup resume, very good early in his career, and also part of the most epic singles match, I think, in Ryder Cup history, at least on the front 9. And he won that match against Rory. I think people forget who won that, but he beat Rory at Hazeltine in that back and forth yelling, shushing, Rory losing his mind on the green thing. So P at 6 for me.
Okay. That's fair. I can't believe I did P like that. That's
do P bad.
That's unfortunate as the homer of the group. Okay. Am I up to 5 now? I think so. I think I'm entering the top 5. I have Hideki Matsuyama at number 5.
Same.
20 worldwide victories, 10 of those on the PGA Tour, plus the Masters. You throw in the bronze medal as well. Where he's won is impressive. Phoenix, Memorial, Genesis Invitational. Did he win at Firestone? If not, he did now. And so Hideki Matsuyama, number 5 on my list.
Same spot for me. Number 5 on my list as well. 10 career top 10s in majors. Very impressive player. I think you said it. Just a lot of wins. Wins Asia Pacific. Obviously low am at the Masters. Like kind of decorated, if you will, across the board. And then one of the great second 9s in Masters history on a non-Sunday when he went crazy after the rain delay in 2021 on that second 9 was wild. Number 4 for me, Jason Day. Number 4.
Ooh,
you got him higher?
I have him 1 spot higher.
Okay.
It was a last-minute switch, too.
Former number 1 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say was the best golfer in the world for probably 15 months at one point in kind of the Spieth, JT, even Rory prime. 13 PGA Tour wins, 1 major, Players, 2 WGCs, 2 FedEx Cup playoff wins. Bay Hill, twice at Torrey, Quail Hollow. 18 top 10s in majors, including 5 second place finishes in major championships for Jason Day. Crazy that he's a one-time major winner during that epic run of his.
Yeah, so I had him at 4 until I saw the 5 runner-up finishes.
And you bumped him.
And bumped him over Adam Scott, who...
Wow. Adam Scott is number 4 on your list.
Adam Scott's number 4 on my list.
Man,
25.
controversial. Wow.
26 wins around the world, 14 on the PGA Tour, plus the Masters, the Players' Championship, of course. Former world number 1. But I dropped him to 4, Shane, because his major resume, 2 runner-up finishes, 9 top 5s. It feels like he should have more than the 9 top 5s, which is obviously a ton. But I just felt looking through his career, he could have squeezed more out of it. So I dropped him to 4, put J Day at 3.
Yeah, Josh, if you will, can you throw up the Wikipedia like major look at Adam Scott's career? Because it is like the early part of his career when he was young and he was like the next Tiger. It was bleak. And then the last 6 years have been bleak. Like all of the major success was in that little window when he ended up winning the Masters. And outside of that, it has not been great. Adam Scott is higher on my list, but it was like, I think there's a good argument to be made with what you said in terms of like the biggest events him not playing great at.
Yeah. So unfortunate.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, just look at that first, look at 02 to 09, just like not a lot of success there. And then the back half hadn't been great. Obviously at the US Open, he had a chance and played terrible on Sunday at Oakmont. So that T12 maybe a little misleading. I don't know. I kind of think where you finish is where you finish personally about golf, but he was at least in the hunt for 3 rounds there. All right. So my number 3 is Justin Rose, number 3 on my list.
Wow.
Yep. Number 3 on my list, 25 pro wins, 11 on the PGA Tour, 8 on the DP World, 23 top 10s in majors, which is pretty wild. Obviously 2 playoff losses, the Masters, 5 second place finishes in majors. He's played on 6 Ryder Cups. As I'm reading all this, I think he should be higher on my list. Okay, I got a complaint here. Can I just throw something your way? And maybe you know something better than this. Why is it impossible to find Ryder Cup records?
Oh, who was that guy? Who has
Adam Sarzen used to do
it. Yeah.
He stopped doing it on his site. He would do match play. Shout out Adam Sarzen. But dude, it's impossible to find it. PGA of America. Josh, cut this. Post it on Twitter. PGA of America. Can we put the individual records online? I'll do it. Just send me what the numbers are. I'll do it for free.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
It's impossible to find it.
Yeah, this is not good.
Anyway, Jay Rose reached number 1 in the world, also won a gold medal. I've got him at 3, probably in the wrong spot. He probably should be higher. That's on me.
Yeah, Jay Rose is on my list. I'll probably have to get to him last, unfortunately. Okay, my number 2. Who was my 3? J Day. Number 2, El Nino, Sergio Garcia.
Same for me.
I believe he has 32 wins across the world, 15 on the DP World Tour, 10 on the PGA Tour and the Masters, throw in the Players' Championship victory, winningest European Ryder Cup player ever. Felt like he could have grabbed one of those from Patty.
Yeah.
Back during that run. Probably should have grabbed one of the Carnoustie.
The Carnoustie putt, yeah. When he blamed the guy for raking the bunker too long.
13 top 5 finishes in majors. And just countless memories, from running up from behind the tree to blaming the bunker guy to him and Tiger getting at it at the Players' Championship too from across the fairways. Yep. Just endless stuff from El Nino. So he is number 2 for me.
23 career top 10s in majors. I have him as number 2 as well. 45 years old, which is wild in terms of Sergio. I maybe think the wildest part of Sergio's career is since the victory at Augusta, since the win in 2017 at the Masters. So 2018 to 2025, Sergio's played in 24 majors. He's missed 15 cuts, and his best finish is T12 at Pinehurst last year. Now, I've got an even more jarring stat about Sergio's career.
Please.
This might be the most jarring stat that I've ever seen about a golfer. Sergio did not win a WGC event. Do you know how many he played? Take a wild guess at how many he played.
Gosh, I am Josh knows this. When it comes to guessing
You're not great.
numbers, I am brutal. I'm gonna say
All
he
right,
played
I'll give
in
it to. I'll give it to
40.
you. 66 WGC starts and did not win one of them. How is that even possible? Never won a signature event, but also haven't been around for many of them, and no FedEx Cup playoff wins either for Sergio. His wins are okay,
I don't think
honestly.
he was around for any of the signatures.
Well, he's probably wasn't around for a single one, but like his wins are not as impressive as you probably remember them being. And yet he's still this high on the list because of just kind of the longevity of it. So you got Rose 1 and I got Adam Scott 1.
Yeah, and another great moment from Sergio. How could I forget his final tournament on the PGA Tour at TPC Potomac? Him yelling at the rules official saying, "I can't wait to be off this tour next week," because they gave him a penalty for searching for too long. And then obviously can't win the big one with those being the signature events. So at number 2, yeah, Justin Rose is number 1 for me. He has a Race to Dubai title, a FedEx Cup title too. So everything you said on top of that.
Probably is where he should be. I'd probably if I did this again, I'd probably switch Adam and Jay Rose. I have Scott high. The resume is impressive. Obviously, won all over the world. But I think Rose is probably equal to that, if not a little higher. All right, pumped to have Carter Arey with us, playing in the U.S. Adaptive Open next week in Maryland. That's at Woodmont. I think it's the 4th installment, Carter, of the U.S. Adaptive Open. What is the vibe like at these championships? This obviously being kind of the pinnacle of adaptive golf.
Yeah, dude, it's I mean, you feel like you're on you're on the pro tour for a week. I mean, it's USGA. It does a really good job, and they move in and move out onto the next one. It's just really high level stuff. The golf is elite. I expected that, but then when you see low red numbers in person, it hits you a different way. So I knew I had a little bit more work to do to get to where I wanted, but it's just really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the thing the USGA has always done such a good job at, in my opinion, is, I mean, the U.S. Open's U.S. Open, and we all know about it. The U.S. Women's Open's the Women's Open. But, I remember covering the U.S. Senior Women's Open the first time it had come about a few years back at Chicago Golf. And it's kind of this celebration of the sport. You had all these legends playing golf. What is it like in terms of kind of adaptive golf, in terms of the tour year round? Is it a great community? Is it a close-knit community? Are you guys kind of rooting for each other, although obviously trying to be competitive and win?
Yeah, I think that answer would depend on the player. There are, at the higher, it just depends on the person. Some people get something out of it. As far as community goes, I'm more on the competitive side of the world. No, I want to, I'm not talking too much to the playing partners, and we're out there to shoot low numbers. And but the U.S. Adaptive Open has elevated and added the spotlight to the players that can go low and showing the world that golf isn't, golf is literally for everybody, no matter your situation, and just up to the player on how good you can get. So it's pretty cool.
Carter, you got a pretty remarkable story. I was reading through it. I mean, you played basketball at Missouri. You had this dream as a kid. You wanted to play sports at Missouri, right? Wasn't that kind of the dream as a youngster?
It was actually Team USA. I asked my mom when I was young, like, what was I into type of question. And she said I was obsessed with the Olympics and Team USA. And funny enough, I had the opportunity to work myself to that position and got there. So full circle for sure, and pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of checked both boxes. You had your leg amputated. How old were you when that happened?
4. Yep.
You were 4. And so, but it was kind of one of those situations, never derailed you, never kind of set you back. I mean, you played soccer, you played basketball, you were still very active and athletic. And then obviously you play your way onto this team in Missouri. You're a 3-time MVP there. I think you were Player of the Year nationwide. And then obviously you get to play for Team USA. What were you like as a basketball player, and how does that work well for you now as a competitive golfer?
Dude, it's so interesting. So I had to, I've worked with coaches on the golf side to learn this part, but the mental is so, as just a beast. And team sports, you don't feel that same way. Like you can run faster, you can try hard, you can put 120% into some like 5 minutes spurt. In golf, it's like you can't do that. You gotta let the golf come to you, and you gotta stay relaxed. And to answer your answer specifically, like I was a very angry athlete. I was very, you know, I don't know.
Emotional.
Might not say the best things about it because I was just so intense, and I really had to learn how to calm down and just take it as it comes. And just the inability to ramp up for a period of time is it was a hurdle that thankfully I've crossed that bridge. But it's super interesting.
Well, it's also an attitude that I think probably doesn't play well in golf. I mean, it can play well in football or basketball where you can be emotional, but it does seem like the best in the world at golf. They can get up and down, they can get frustrated, they can throw clubs, but it seems like for the most part, especially the modern player, seems like they kind of keep it between, the mustard and the mayo for 72 holes. When did you want to switch into golf? I mean, I know and you'd written about kind of exhausting yourself and physically and mentally kind of pushing yourself basically to as far as you can go in basketball. Why the switch to golf? When did that happen?
Dude, it was the adaptive open. I saw dudes with prosthetic legs on Golf Channel, the first adaptive open at Pinehurst, and I was watching TV, and at that point I was done with sports. I mean, I barely watched it. And I asked Laura, my wife, who played golf in college, I was like, what's that? How good do you think those guys are? And so we looked it up, and they were extremely good. And I was like, well, shoot, I can kill myself for a couple of years if you can help me learn how to actually play. Sure, I played rounds growing up with my dad, and my friends once in a while. We just try to hit it hard and just have a good time. But learning how to play golf technically, and we started from scratch. She had a blank canvas that was generally a good athlete, so it was just up to me to kind of work myself into the ground. I'm a-okay with working hard at whatever, especially if I want something. And so last year went to a qualifier, and they opened up open qualifying, which I thought was super cool and the right way to do it. And I had it, I played well in an 18-hole qualifier, and you don't get to go to another qualifier to the last chance or whatever. It's just like 18 holes, see what you got. And last year I got in through the rain, and it was my best round of the year. It's just like one of those days, like, it's like, yeah, it was awesome. But I worked really hard for it and went to the adaptive open, starstruck. I didn't know how cool it was. So coming into this year's open qualifier, it was like, well, now I got more pressure because I really want to get back to that tournament. And this year I was a little bit better. The games progressed, and shot a 73 and won the qualifiers. I'm a USGA medalist after all this, and ended up to, you just raise expectations, see, put yourself on a new level, try to break that next level of the mountain. And we're here. So now we got different goals this year.
Yeah, Carter, I don't think people quite know when you play USGA qualifiers. If you qualify, you get this really cool kind of printout from Seamus, and it's awesome. You take it home and you put it on your mantle or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But if you're a medalist, you literally get a medal. I mean, you get basically a trophy from the week. So it's always kind of fun when you can finish low. And then no matter what you really do at the Open, you can always kind of have that. So wait, real quick, do timeline for me, because you go from never really playing golf in any capacity to talking to your wife, who's obviously a very, very good golfer, to now working on the game, to then being able to shoot scores around and under par. I mean, what was this timeline like for you?
It was I guess fall of 22 is when it was on TV.
Jeez.
Yeah, sorry.
That's wild, man. I mean, obviously it takes some skill set and athleticism to be able to just kind of put it back into another place. Like, I've got buddies that played football and played basketball and then, instantaneously take up golf and become scratch golfers. I don't think we always kind of equate sport to sport when it comes to golf. But as you said, mentally, so much of that could be applied to this game, all the stuff you've kind of used when you were on the court preparing, shooting free throws, things like that.
Yeah. It's I've got the athleticism, and I've known this since I was a child. I always saw myself as an elite athlete, always had it. I was one of the best athletes in the area with a prosthetic leg, and I always knew that. Everyone always knew that. It was like, what could have been? One of those stories. I mean, I was in fourth grade. I remember her name. I'm not going to say it, but it was a PE teacher in fourth grade. They had a pyramid on the gym wall, and at the very top was professional athletes. It's almost like deters people from going towards professional sports. And she's like, no one, more or less, you will not get there. So like, figure out what you want. I was like, that's me. I'll be there. So ever since I was young, it was always one of those things where I was like, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to do my own. I'm going to trailblaze a little bit, and being true to myself.
Carter, what's the best part of your game? What's the part of your game that you still are looking to improve?
I love hitting wedges. Anything in under 120 is just just really fun for me. That's why I enjoy practicing the most. Putting is also very fun for me to practice. Long irons probably the weak spot. I don't get too caught in the weeds on proximity on long irons. It's always focusing on the basics of hitting the green, having a chance. But long iron's probably the thing I struggle with the most. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it could be a lot better.
Have you played Woodmont before? Do you know much about the golf course?
No, I'm a bit of a a nut. I've studied upside and down, and just recently learned they had a renovation, so I have to go back to the drawing board on kind of my studying of the course. But the course sets up well. It does. It's a lot of left right off the tees, and if I want to hit a big draw to add some yardage, there's openings on those holes for those shots, and a lot of fairway bunkers, which I feel like is a good separator for scores as well.
Carter, I know the answer that you're going to say here, but what are the goals next week for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, conservative is I want to make that cut. Last year I fell short. I wasn't expecting to make a cut last year. It was just, the goal last year was to make that tournament. This year it's to make the cut and get into that final 18. I think it's live on Golf Channel this year, which is super cool. That'll be a
final round, I believe.
Event.
Yep.
Yep. But I'm within the top 10 of one-legged players in the world, and I want to improve my ranking. I feel like I deserve a higher ranking, and not deserve because the shots you put up are what you get. I mean, it's a very what you put in, what you get out type of sport. But I know where I'm going to be eventually, so I'd like to get there sooner than later.
Carter, is it crazy to go back to 2022 when you're kind of taking up the game and getting interested in sports and now having brands that are sponsoring you? And I mean, you've got the caddy bib behind you, obviously got support within the family with the kiddos and the wife. I mean, is it wild to see this new iteration of you as an athlete, as a person in such a short amount of time?
It is, dude. It is. Yeah. Team sports, you don't get much individual attention as you shouldn't. It's all about the team. This individual sport has brought in a lot of cool opportunities. The guys at Mizuno, Jeremy and Connor, and I mean, there's so many guys there, and B Draddy have been so awesome to me. The guys at B Draddy, if you know them, they're studs. They've been super cool, but more so like that shows the belief in where adaptive golf is going. These are low scores with that people that look like they shouldn't be able to shoot low scores, and it's really, really interesting and really cool. Sure, we've overcome a lot of things in real life, but everybody has. It's just a matter of putting great golf on the TV, and then people realize, oh, they're moving the ball and then backing it up towards the pin from 140. It's like, that's cool to all golf fans. So it's cool to see big brands get behind it and understand that, it's super cool to watch.
Yeah, Carter, it seems like a great event to go out and watch. I mean, you'll probably be floored by the kind of, to your point, level of play and how impressive so many of these players are, and also obviously worth the time to watch it. I think that final round is going to be on Golf Channel next week. Excited to watch. I think it's one of the coolest events in all of sports. Shout out to the USGA for the US Adaptive Open. And Carter, shout out to you, man. So cool to have you in the game and to see you kind of pursuing that dream in a different way. We'll be following your name next week. Hope you play well.
Thanks, dude.
It is time now for 5 good minutes with our man, Justin Ray. Jay Ray, we had a 20-year-old win on the PGA Tour this past week. I mean, obviously a lot of focus is on the driving and the speed. Very modern day player. It was cool to see Potgieter get that victory.
It was. And he put himself in pretty rare air by winning a playoff. Over the last 50 years, the only 3 players to win a PGA Tour playoff at age 20 or younger are Tiger Woods in 1996 at Vegas, Jordan Spieth in 2013 at the John Deere, and now Aldrich Potgieter at Detroit.
Wow.
That's it. That's the only guys to win the last 50 years to win a playoff before age 21.
His first step to becoming an all-timer. First one here from Justin Ray. All correlated somehow, I'm sure. You got anything else on Potbelly for us?
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm in a position to give him that kind of nickname, but one of 5 players from outside the United States in the last 100 years to win before the age of 21. You'll notice there are a lot more in recent years than in the past, but Seve did it, Rory, Joaquin Niemann, Tom Kim, and now Aldrich Potgieter of South Africa.
I mean, that is so crazy. And I mean, the driving, we talked about it, but like Banana Land in terms of how far he hits it, the consistency of the distance, I think that's the thing that stood out to me is, he's in that playoff. He hits 8 iron into the par 5. And I mean, this par 5 is not 508. I mean, this is 580 par 5,
Yeah, listen, there were a ton of massive drives all week at Detroit. You look at the top of that leaderboard where you had guys, of course, Potgieter, but also like Jake Knapp. There were 74 drives hit by the field of 350 or more for the week. 74 drives of 350 or more. Jake Knapp had the most with 8. 12 players hit multiple drives, 350 plus. So it was fitting that the PGA Tour leader by 6 yards in driving distance in Potgieter went on to win the tournament.
Wow. Oh, my God. And it rained early in the week, too. I felt like the course was only fiery there on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe there were a couple of, super downwind holes at some point. I'd have to dig into it a little bit more. But, yeah, it was that number really stood out to me, just the sheer quantity of massive drives hit all week.
Damn, that's wild. Okay, we got John Deere this week, Jay Ray. Seems like once you figure out this place, you can fare pretty well. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so. But John Deere Week always brings back a great statistic that it can't seem to be, no one can seem to match it. And it's the last time anyone's gone with a three-peat on the PGA Tour was Steve Stricker in 2009, 2010, and 2011. No one's three-peated in a PGA Tour event since then. 22 players have gone back-to-back since then. 0 for 22 going for the third in a row. Funny enough, the closest to getting the three-peat was Brooks Koepka at the U.S. Open when he finished runner-up to Gary Woodland at Pebble Beach in 2019. That would have been 3 in a row. That's the best finish by anyone going for 3. But this was, as always, it goes from this isn't a Tiger Woods stat to turning into a Tiger Woods stat. Since 1995, there are 10 instances on tour of a player three-peating or winning a 4th tournament in a row in the same event. 8 of the 10 are Tiger Woods. The other 2 are Stricker at John Deere, and then I think it's Stuart Appleby at Maui to begin the year.
Jay Ray, nothing I like more than diving into a player's Wikipedia after you mention him. Steve Stricker's Wikipedia is wild. The success as a youngster, won the Wisconsin Open as an AM, and then, of course, all the success on Champs Tour. Maybe
didn't he win comeback player of the year back-to-back years?
Twice. Yes. It's not even, you can't even do that. That's impossible.
That shouldn't even be a thing. How can you be comeback player of the year consecutively?
Comeback. But yeah, I think actually after that happened, they discontinued their award. I think after they
did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We're cutting this thing out. But look at Steve Stricker's page at some point in the next couple of days, because it is quite remarkable, this consistency, the victories, and obviously the success at the John Deere. Jay Ray, I'm assuming you get a couple of quiet weeks and then we get right back into it, baby. So I'm hoping you enjoy being home.
I am fired up to get over to the Open Championship. I didn't get to go to Port Rush in 2019, but I will be there here in a couple of weeks. Can't wait to see it.
Open Championship power rankings. Not a lot of changes for me, obviously coming off of Rocket Week. I mean, we didn't get a lot of those names in there. I did have one mover on my list. I threw Morikawa at 5.
Okay.
And I pretty much have kept everybody else in a similar spot. I'll go Morikawa, Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Scotty, John Rahm.
Yeah, mine did not change at all with Tommy, Spieth, Bobby Mack, Turl, kind of locking in that number 2 spot, almost in that playoff, and then Scotty. But I will say, are you concerned about John Rahm at all, Shane? His top 10 streak on Live Golf is now.
Did he finish T11?
0. T11.
He finished
T11.
Yeah, I think he's probably beating himself up.
DiMaggio, Ripken, Woods, Rahm. That's right. Well, I hope he's okay. Maybe that was the pressure that he couldn't play with, was the Live top 10 streak, and he knew even at a major he was going to have to get back to that and answer all those questions at the next event. Xander's off my list right now. Going to need something from Xander. Feels like a very lost year for Xander. Obviously, the injury's the injury, but my goodness, if he goes through this Open without sniffing, coming off the year he had last year, I hate forgotten seasons for great players, and I think Xander's a great player. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, going back, it's like, okay, 1 top 10 finish, T8 at the Masters. I don't remember one consequential golf shot on the weekend for Xander Schauffele this year.
Nope. I don't know if I remember one consequential golf shot from Xander at any point on any golf tournament all season long.
Yeah, I think his most memorable shot was honestly top of the hill 16 round 1 PGA when him and Scotty both dumped it in the water with mud balls.
Oh, yeah, and they're so mad. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, when everybody made double. Good times. Was that Quail Hollow or was that Valhalla? You never quite know.
No, don't know.
I can mix those up pretty quickly. So which puts us on to the John Deere. It's that time of the season. Opportunity for a lot of players. I think you'll hear the word opportunity a lot this week. My can win, can't win lists are kind of full of those opportunistic players, kind of like what we saw with Potgieter last week. I got Thor Bjornsson on my list that I think can win. I'm continuing to throw Clanton on my list to win. I mean, didn't play great on Saturday, but was in the hunt through 2 rounds last week at the Rocket. And I got Chris Gotterup on my can win list as well. Who do you have?
I like those. I like those a lot. I have Ben Griffin looking to become the third.
Huge if he won.
Third multiple time winner or 3-time winner this season. I have Denny McCarthy. I will die with Denny McCarthy. And then I'm going to roll with Ryan Gerard as a potential winner. Yeah.
Nice.
Striking the cover off the golf ball.
The can't win list, and we try to throw this disclaimer in every now and again. The idea of this is to pick high odds players that we think are not going to win. We could easily go down the list and pick guys that have never won. Granted, we do pick Tommy Fleetwood a lot on both sides of these things. Still hadn't won on the PGA Tour. Shout out Tommy. But my can't win. I don't think Potgieter's going back to back. We flashed you the resume this season, his career resume as a pro. Not a lot of back-to-back success. I know he's coming off 2 great tournaments in a row, but I don't think he's going to win 2 tournaments back-to-back. I don't think Siwoo's winning this week either. And I got Jay Day, one of our top 10 names, not winning at the John Deere. I do think Jay Day could get himself in contention at the Open, but I don't think he's winning this week.
Yeah, he really hasn't played a ton this year. I know he WD'd from the Players. He has the YouTube channel going up, so maybe going that route.
Is that right? Jay Day is doing it?
The lads. He has him. Ruffles, I think, is in the mix.
Oh, Ruffles is a big YouTube guy.
Yeah. So he's got that compound there at his house.
I mean, that's Patrick. I forgot to tell you this. I was going to tell you this offline, but this sounds like a perfect time to say it. I was at a restaurant Saturday or Sunday, and a guy walked in the full Jason Day hat, like the whatever that Motive or whatever the brand is on the front, DeWalt on the side. And I was thinking, can you buy these on his website? Or did he throw it to this guy at the Travelers or something? I mean, I have not seen the full kit Jason Day hat out in the wild ever. So that was a shocking thing to see. I wish I had taken a picture of it. That's
electric. So hat, not visor.
Yeah, it was like the one. It was like the black rope, like the one you'd see him wear. Saturday probably at a U.S. Open. I was very surprised by it.
There are like probably 12 people in the world who would be like, "Oh my God, this guy's rocking the J Day hat."
The Jason Day hat. I remember one of the brands Dustin Johnson was with years ago told me that DJ asked to get the hats that he wears made, but with his logo on the back, the DJ logo on the back. And it was a little bit of a pain to get them made at the time, whatever. Not as easy now in terms of seamless, just order 50 of these from someplace, they ship them to you the next day. And somebody said that it was like a big passion of DJs to get these things printed. And he's like, he'll sell 40 of those on his website a year. It's like he's making 10 million from us a year, and he's going to sell 40 of these on his site. But somewhere out there's a DJ hat floating. Who do you have that can't win this week?
It's funny. I was talking to Willie Wilcox at the, I guess it was the PGA Championship. We were talking about the Sung JM Tracker account on Twitter and how they have beef with each other. And he's like, if he was nice to me, I would have sent him one of those CJ Cup hats, which are a collector's item. Like no one can get the CJ hat that Sung Jae has. And so Sung Jae's not winning.
There you go. Okay, I like it. A little bit of
because of that. Who else is on the field? I agree with Jay Day. I'm going to say Davis Thompson. His putter has been so bad this year. It's actually kind of sad because he was on my Ryder Cup team at the beginning of the year, unfortunately. And then who's a big name? Chris Kirk. He's not bouncing back after that one. He's up near the top. He's 35-1.
The discourse, by the way, floating around, I saw from a few people about the playoff is if it's a 3-person playoff and you're the first one out, should you finish third and not tie second? What are your thoughts?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yeah. It's a T2 though, right?
I mean, you could make 8 on the first playoff hole and the guy could make 2. And in theory, you finish the same as him. It just seems like more golf. If there's more golf to be played, there should be consequence for it. I think you could also say, I will take the T2 and I won't play in the playoff. is an option. You should be able to
Mm.
you could almost take the points. Yeah, you like just take the points and say I'm withdrawing from the playoff.
Rick Gaiman has a tournament he wants where you can just quit at any time, and so you're you get to 3 under. You get 3 under. Like say you birdie your first 3 holes at the U.S. Open, you're like, I'm taking 3 under. I'm done.
Yeah, it's like playing pig with the die, right? Where you get to a number and you sit on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. Golly, imagine like a tough like Oakmont and you're Andrew Landry in 16 and you shoot 4 under on the front. It's like I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah,
like that's going to win the golf tournament. No chance anybody's beating that. That's interesting. That's actually a very, very fun wrinkle to one of these tournaments that aren't that exciting. I do have Thor Bjornsson winning. That's my pick this week. My sleepers, Matt McCarty, plus 8,000's a good number for Matty. Just feels like a good setup for him. He'll have a lot of fairways, good short game, good wedge player. I could see Matty getting in contention. And he's been pretty solid this season. I've been very impressed by you go promotion on KFT, you get the win right away, at the end of the season last year. It could have been very easy to have a whatever year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Matt's been relatively consistent this season and popped up top 10s a couple times. Obviously played well at the Masters. So been fun to kind of see him continue the great year he had after the wins last year late on the KFT.
Yeah, honestly, seems like the ideal type of rookie season where you ease yourself in and you get a lot of good experience. And who knows, maybe you can grab another win. My winner is Denny. And my sleeper, I wanted to go Ricky, but couldn't do it. I'm going with Lee.
What is Ricky? What's Ricky's number?
Ricky is as high as 65-1, which not great for the world number 111 and number 72 in the FedEx Cup without full-time status next year, mind you. He'll get like money list or something down the board, but definitely concerning. But Lee Hodges is my guy I feel like Lee Hodges is just a name that would play well in Illinois. Yeah, and he is playing good golf. He's playing good golf.
Yeah. Like Lee Hodges seems like a guy that should, in theory, like win the John Deere,
Yeah. Yes.
Is that fair to say? Like he may have won the John Deere. You know what I'm saying? Like if he has won a John Deere, I would be 0% surprised,
That is exactly what I'm getting at. He won the 3M Open, which is like John Deere's little cousin.
Yes, it's the John Deere. They're all the John Deere, right? John Deere should do a blanket sponsorship about 4 events, and we just call them all the John Deere, and you could just be like, yeah, I won 4 John Deeres, and I'm basically Steve Stricker. Ricky, by the way, 6 career wins on the PGA Tour. That's pretty surprising. It's kind of wild.
Just like not a lot.
Does he win again on the PGA Tour in his career? Yay or nay?
Oh man, I'm gonna say yes. I can't quit, Ricky.
I'd probably say no. Do you think Ricky or Lexi gets a win sooner?
I think Lexi's playing more golf.
Playing better golf.
And I'm gonna say Ricky. I'm gonna say Ricky.
You know what the thing about Lexi is? I mean, I know we love to kind of joke about the whole retirement thing. She's 11 wins on the LPGA Tour. I think I would have probably guessed less than that, considering how many she kind of like punts at the end of tournaments. 11 is above, north of 10 wins to me on any tour is something to kind of, I guess applaud, if you will.
Yeah, 11 with, like you mentioned, the punts at the end of the tournaments. I mean, what was that one year with Olympic and then Congressional? It happened.
Yeah.
That was just a brutal stretch.
She has 5 third place finishes in majors and 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, a couple of 4s, a 5th. I mean, 2 5ths. She is
9 podiums.
Golly, 9 podiums and 1 win in the major championship. And I mean, what was that? That was 2014. 2014. She shot 68 in the final round to beat Michelle Wie by 3. What the ratings of that were? Lexi and Michelle Wie battling it out. I'm assuming the numbers had to been pretty good there, but I think we're in the weeds at this point. Anything else you got before we go? We're talking 2014 Nabisco. So the show's like right where it needs to be.
No, I think I got everything off my chest. I just really wanted to get the sidewalk etiquette, and I mean, It was like Wade to LeBron with the alley-oop via the poker chip marker. So I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, just a couple things we don't like. I'm actually going to go play golf in a little bit. If somebody has a poker chip, I'll make sure I text you boys and let you know. But shout out to everybody that joined. This was kind of a busy show. Shout out to StreamYard for getting through this Tuesday episode. And we will be back post John Deere to set up, I think, what I'd consider maybe my favorite stretch of golf. I think when you get through the Deere and you kind of turn to links golf and kind of get to wake up early and watch that is pretty exciting. And obviously we'll get a little more hype for the Open Championship.